World War II was a global war that lasted from 1939 to 1945. It involved the majority of the world's nations, including all of the great powers, eventually forming two opposing military alliances, the Allies and the Axis. It was the most widespread war in history, and directly involved more than 100 million people from more than 30 countries. In a state of total war, the major participants threw their entire economic, industrial, and scientific capabilities behind the war effort, erasing the distinction between civilian and military resources. Marked by mass deaths of civilians, including the Holocaust, in which approximately 11 million people were killed, and the strategic bombing of industrial and population centers, in which approximately 1 million people were killed, it resulted in 50 million to over 70 million fatalities. There were many causes of World War II, including political, economic, and cultural factors. The aggressive actions of Nazi Germany, led by dictator Adolf Hitler, and the Axis powers in Europe. Japan's expansionist policies in Asia. The failure of appeasement and the ineffective response to aggression by the international community. The Treaty of Versailles, which ended World War I and imposed harsh penalties on Germany, was seen by many as unjust and contributed to resentment and militarism in the country. Nationalism and militarism were on the rise in many countries, leading to an arms race and a desire for territorial expansion. The rise of dictatorships in countries such as Germany, Italy, and Japan, and the aggressive foreign policies pursued by these regimes. These and other factors combined to create a volatile international environment that ultimately led to the outbreak of World War II. The causes of the war are complex and are still debated by historians today. Some causes include the aggressive actions of Nazi Germany, led by dictator Adolf Hitler, and the Axis powers in Europe, as well as Japan's expansionist policies in Asia. The failure of appeasement and the ineffective response to aggression by the international community also played a role in the outbreak of war. The war had a profound impact on the world, leading to significant political, economic, and social changes. It marked the end of Western colonialism and the rise of the Cold War, as well as the creation of the United Nations. The war also had a significant cultural impact, with works of literature, art, and film addressing the war and its aftermath. World War II was a devastating conflict that resulted in significant losses for many countries. The total number of military and civilian casualties is estimated to be between 50 million and over 70 million people, making it one of the deadliest wars in human history. Approximately 15 to 20 million military personnel were killed in the war, including both soldiers and sailors. Civilians made up the majority of the casualties in World War II, with an estimated 50 to 55 million people killed. This includes civilians who died as a result of direct military action, as well as those who died from disease, starvation, or other causes related to the war. The war resulted in significant damage to infrastructure and buildings in many countries, with entire cities being destroyed. The total cost of the war, in terms of property damage and reconstruction, is estimated to be in the trillions of dollars. The losses of World War II had a profound impact on the world and were felt for many years after the war ended. The war had a significant effect on global politics, economics, and society, and its consequences are still felt today. We would like to tell you some interesting facts about World War II. World War II was the most widespread war in history, with more than 100 million people from more than 30 countries directly involved in the conflict. It was the first war in which aircraft played a major role, with air power being used for both strategic bombing and tactical support. The war saw the development and use of new weapons, including nuclear weapons, which were used for the first time in the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The war resulted in the Holocaust, in which approximately 6 million Jews and millions of other minority groups were systematically murdered by the Nazi regime. The war ended with the defeat of the Axis powers and the dissolution of their alliance. The United Nations, UN, formed in the aftermath of the war, became the first international organization to address issues of global concern. The war had a significant cultural impact, with works of literature, art, and film addressing the war and its aftermath. The war led to significant political, economic, and social changes, including the end of Western colonialism and the rise of the Cold War. World War II ended on September 2, 1945, when Japan surrendered to the Allied powers, following the dropping of atomic bombs on the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki and the Soviet Union's invasion of Japanese-occupied territories in Manchuria. The surrender of Japan marked the end of the war, although the official surrender document, known as the Instrument of Surrender, was not signed until September 8, 1945, on the deck of the USS Missouri in Tokyo Bay. The war ended with the defeat of the Axis powers, which included Germany, Italy, and Japan, and the dissolution of their alliance. The United States, the United Kingdom, and the Soviet Union emerged as the major Allied powers, and the United Nations, UN, was formed in the aftermath of the war to address issues of global concern, including decolonization, human rights, and international security. The end of World War II had a significant impact on the world, leading to significant political, economic, and social changes, including the end of Western colonialism and the rise of the Cold War. Thank you for watching our video on World War II. We hope that you have learned something new about this significant event in history. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you can get notification of similar informative video.